I need to stay with Sean. You're taller and it wasn't even close.
I'm like a full tall.
How are you? I know. How you doing, man?
Good.
Good to see you, dude. You're Kristen, right?
I'm Kristen. Now, this is the first time we've ever met.
Dang.
Yeah, it's nice to meet
What's
you.
going on?
Now all of a sudden you're interested in doing an interview.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. She's too pretty for radio.
Right?
Did you get that on camera? I just got
This is
that.
Tommy.
We met. I came in here earlier and you guys weren't here. Too busy drinking.
Yes, I know. He's a very bad influence on us. This Scooter
get
bro.
out of here.
And you met Rhett?
Yeah, we met. Yeah.
Cool.
What's
How
been
you
going
been,
on?
man?
Been chilling, dude.
Yeah.
Just working hard.
Just woke up, huh?
Yeah.
It's a long day.
You probably deserved a nap, right? I told
I
you.
tried to turn the damn thing
I
off.
did a 10-hour GQ shoot yesterday.
A 10-hour GQ shoot. How'd that go?
It was good. It was long, and I didn't really sleep the night before, so I was running on adrenaline.
So how does that, if you have a photo shoot though and you didn't sleep the night before, like a woman would worry about bags underneath the eyes.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what they put makeup on me.
Do
I'm not proud of it, but they put makeup on me.
What are the beauty secrets of Justin Bieber that most don't know about?
Um,
Come on.
I would say moisturizer in the morning.
All right.
Moisturize the face.
Okay.
You got to make sure to get sleep. That's one thing. I don't know. Just take care of yourself.
You're too pretty to be taking care of yourself. You must have people primping you all day
They
long.
do know. I have to. I mean, it's really not my favorite thing, but they have to put makeup on me before doing like events and shows and stuff.
When's
My
the-
dad's still tripping. He's like, "You shouldn't be wearing makeup. You're a man."
Was your dad at the photo shoot? Did he get to be at the photo shoot?
No. He's back home with the kids. He's just preparing for Christmas. He's got 2 little babies. So
Gotcha. Are you going to be able to be with fam for Christmas?
yeah, I'm flying out tonight.
Oh,
cool.
good for you.
Yeah,
So you're here for one night, then you head back.
Yep,
Wow.
I'm back.
It's a whirlwind.
Whirlwind.
It's funny because I'm looking at you now here, and I'm getting all nostalgic over the last. Scooter and I were downstairs. I'm getting all nostalgic, and we were talking about your first time in studio, man, when you were like 15 years old.
Dude, I watched that interview recently, like a week ago.
It's crazy. So he literally walks in the studio, and he's got his Justin Bieber hair and his guitar, and he's just eager. He's just eager to be on mic and eager to be on the radio.
Of
And you were
course.
15 years old at that time, right? So now, of course, back then, none of us knew you were going to be the biggest star in the world. So, all right, let's get deep for a second. 21-year-old Justin is giving 15-year-old Justin advice on what to expect from the industry and what to expect of life, going through what you've gone through. What do you say to that dude now?
I would just say, just listen to the people who care about you, you know, and also I was so, you can't really teach innocent, because I was innocent and I was young and I trusted everybody, and with being young and innocent in this industry, it's not necessarily the best thing because people take advantage of vulnerability. And so I think I was just in a place of just trusting everyone and, you know, thinking everyone was on my side and eventually getting burned. And yeah, it's just tough, man. And after a while, I started putting up walls and boundaries. And for a while, I kind of shut everybody out. And then I kind of lost my own personality and lost my charismaticness because I just didn't trust anyone. And then finally I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna let them win. I'm gonna give them some of me and learn how to put up a wall without closing myself off completely.
You're probably the most competitive person I've ever met in my life, and I've seen it time and time again.
Yes.
And I've seen it. There was one time, you're not going to remember any of this, but there's one time you're on stage and you're like trying to kick like a jujube or something into the crowd, while maybe you were on the side of the stage throwing
What
it
in
at
the
him.
world are you talking about?
No, because
Yeah, dude, we just were doing crazy stuff. Like we used to have these like sound check parties. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, and then before we do like weird games and he'd throw something to me and I tried to kick it and I wouldn't stop until I got it. I'm like that type of dude. Like the other day, I forget what it was, but they were like, he's not going to stop. My boy's like, he's just not going to stop. He's going to do this until he makes it.
I saw it that day. So is it that competitiveness to where like when everybody's coming down on you, you feel like the media isn't being fair to you?
Right.
At some point you got competitive and just started fighting back, right?
Well, the thing is that throughout it all, I always knew my talent level and I knew what I was capable of. So I was never worried about coming back. And that might sound weird, and because I was such in a weird place, but I always knew what I was capable of. And at that time, I was just growing up and figuring myself out. And I just happened to be doing it in a spotlight and in front of people. So it was a little different. Like you guys got to make your mistakes, and no one got to see it.
Right.
You know? And for me, it's like everyone gets to see it, and obviously I have more accessibility to do crazier stuff because I'm, you know, in this position. But yeah, dude, I just had to figure out what kind of man I wanted to be, and you know, I have awesome people in my corner. We got Scooter, who's just an awesome man, and That's it.
When it comes to finding the right people to trust, though, because it's no exaggeration when Bert says, like, you are one of the world's biggest stars. So the people that get to come into your fold, like, how do you figure out who you can trust and who you can't?
Well, I had to reassess that completely. I kind of like shut everybody out, you know, after I was like, you know what, I'm going to kind of start making some changes. So I kind of just like, let me take some space, even from the people that I loved. And then I came back and I put them in the positions where they needed to be. You know, before it was like, I didn't really have anyone in designated places. It was just like whoever, whenever, you know, because I was just like, I wanted people around, and, you know, you're in a place of being lonely and stuff. It feels good to have someone around. It doesn't even matter who it is. Mm-hmm. So they felt like they just they didn't know their place either. So once I came back and I was like, okay, this is where my mindset's at. When I'm in the studio, I'm doing this, you guys come through. I love having you around, but you don't need to come on my bus all the time. And, you know, it's just finding out places where they belong.
People naturally weed themselves out and then
right. And then like, you know, I got my brother here. He's, I mean, not my real brother, but he's my dad dated his mom for 15 years. So we like spent Christmases together, and I know I can trust him, and yeah.
Those conversations got to be tough. Like, you got this group of people, and you want to assume that they're your best friends, and then at some point you got to say this. That's a tough conversation for anybody. Now, if you're having it at 19 or 20 or 21, that's tough.
It's one of the toughest things, especially when you really love someone. And I'm not the type of person who likes confrontation at all. Like, I hate it, especially with my friends. So I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want them to think that I don't love them, you know. But there's sometimes you just need space, and it's like, I still love you, but I'm gonna love you from a distance because I don't know if like we're right for each other right now. Not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's probably comforting for teenagers to hear this, because we've all been there. Like, we've all had those friends that we couldn't say no to, and peer pressure. And this is probably how we gotten ourselves into situations that we have.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I have a cool opportunity to just be a light and tell people, you know, I'm human. I'm still going to make mistakes. You might see me on TMZ tomorrow doing something else dumb. But I think that what's cool about this growth is people can see it, and it's like I've made a transition that's and been consistent, you know. And I think that life is just about staying consistent and keeping pushing forward and knowing that, hey, this day might suck, but let me just look forward to tomorrow or the better days to come in the future.
I know you're pretty spiritual, so and I know you must have thought about this before, like, Did God put you on this earth to do music, or did God put you on this earth to connect with people going through struggles that can learn from you? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I get you. I think that my platform gives me the opportunity to do that. My love and my passion is people, and that's where my music comes, is because I'm able to give them something special, whether they're going through whatever they're going through. I think the connection comes through my music and helping them through my music. I don't know if necessarily I'm meant to be a public speaker or someone who's, you know, I think what my platform is come to my show, feel the energy from my music, know that my music is positive and light and beautiful, and hopefully they can take something from that. Because I think that when it's almost like a religion in itself. You know, when you're coming to a concert, you're leaving all your troubles behind. You're going to just be like completely enveloped in the music, and you have your hands up, and it's like you're just there and you're present. And I think that what's so beautiful about that is like everyone's connected, everyone's there and there for the right reasons, and that's why I love what I do.
Now, purpose is a powerful word, and I think it's a bold move to make it the title of your album.
Right.
Do you feel like you found your purpose, or are you still searching for it?
I think slowly but surely, but I think that finding your purpose is one of the most important things, and that's why I wanted to make the album Purpose, because everything that I put out so far, whether it's Never Say Never or Believe, it's all has something that's such a powerful word that you can take it however you want to take it and run with it, but it's powerful. And like for a while, I felt like I lost my purpose, and slowly but surely, I'm figuring out where I belong and what my purpose is and what I need to do for the world and what I need to do for myself. And hopefully, I just keep moving in that direction. And yeah.
over the last year, man, you've gone through some ups and downs, and we've all been sort of following it. And I will say that I have been very consistent.
I will have your back on this. I will have your back on this.
I had you because I could see like nobody could understand, and I've seen like artists in their 40s saying stuff like, look, this comes with celebrity, he should know. But those 40-year-olds never had to live in the kind of social media spotlight that you have to deal with.
But not even that, even just my life in general. Like,
yeah.
They don't have people following them and screaming every day for them.
Yeah.
Well, everybody thinks it's great. Like they have this.
They never had a public image that was perfect, you know, per se. Like when I started, they portrayed me as being this perfect kid that like no one can really hold up to, and so I had all this pressure being this guy. And for a while, I was just like, you know what? I'm not perfect. I have struggles. I have problems, and people can say, well, what problems do you have? You're a celebrity. You have millions of dollars. You're driving a Ferrari every day. But let me tell you, dude, once you get somewhere, you're going to say, hey, I got this now. What's next? Like, what else am I going to get? Like, once you get something, you always, if you can, it's like when you get a new car. I remember when I got my Ferrari, dude, and I was showing everybody. It was so special to me. It's still very special to me, but it's a different special now. It's like, I love it, but it's like I'm not opening up the glove box and showing them the glove box. Like I'm showing them the glove box in my Ferrari. That's how happy I am.
Yeah.
And like after a while, you just start. It's like, what's next? Now I want the new car, and it's not a selfish thing, but it's just human nature, I think. And once we can completely understand that, like, there was a quote Jim Carrey said. He said, "I wish everyone was famous so that no one would want to be famous."
You feel the same way right now?
I feel the same way. It's just because like people think it's this amazing thing, and there's these pressures that no one can really understand of having to be on and having to, you know, smile and make sure you're portrayed as a certain thing when you might be having a bad day. I might be on the toaster coming up at a show and just had a fight with my girlfriend, or I don't have a girlfriend, but, but per se, or something happens where my mom or something happens and I have to come up in that toaster and I might be crying before the show or in a bad mood, and all of a sudden the toaster rises and I have to just put on this complete different thing. And yeah, it can be, it's tough, but you know, I think that I'm made for this.
Isn't it a drug though? Like, isn't it kind of intoxicating? Like, if you ever think of your life now away from it, like, you must have had thoughts over the last year, because I saw one article saying you were feeling so depressed, you're in your hotel room, you're all by yourself. You must have at one point said, I'm just going to walk away from it. If the reality of that happened, do you think that the celebrity of this is so intoxicating you could really, really walk away from it?
I do, yeah. I think I just love music so much. And for me, it was about the music. And even through that terrible time in my life, I learned so much about my artistic, creative side. And I might have been in a weird place, but every night I was going to the studio. Every night I was working on what I loved, and it showed on this album. You know, I have another #1 single, and this was all hard work that I put in. I didn't go to all these super producers and say, hey, I need you guys to write me some smashes. I'm coming back. I literally worked on what I thought was unique to me and a unique sound to myself, and I ran with it, and people are gravitating toward that. And I think if I wouldn't have spent that time, if I would have, you know, stopped doing what I loved during that time and just listened to everybody, and because I stepped away from the spotlight, I stepped away from, you know, all this stuff, but what I did was I kind of just hid in the studio and just like grinded it out. And I found people that I love to work with, found people that I didn't like to work with, found people that I vibed with, found people that it's really hard to really find someone who you can write with, has such an open mind and who doesn't try to steal your creativity, and you can really bounce off ideas with. And I finally found this dude named Pooh Bear, who's super talented, who helped me write What Do You Mean and Where Are You Now, and he's just has this.
Where do you find someone like that? I mean, Craigslist?
No, it was actually
Facebook.
organic.
Yeah.
It was actually organic. I went to the studio with someone else, and he was in the studio writing for them. And
you just happen to cross paths. It's kind of destiny kind of thing.
Yeah, and he writes R&B music, like real R&B. Like he wrote Peaches and Cream for 112, like back in the day when he was 16.
You remember that because it was back in the day.
Oh yeah, no, that's your time.
That is.
No, but
well,
no, but
Sorry.
classic for you. Vintage.
right. No, but yeah, he wrote all this R&B music, and I was like, hey, bro, I want to do an R&B album. And he's like, what? He's like, you're a pop singer. Like, I want to write pop songs for you. I'm like, no, I want to do an R&B album. And so we spent about 6 months creating this R&B album, which I released like 3 years ago, almost, right? 2 years ago, was it? 2 or 3 Journals.
Journals was last year.
No, that wasn't last year.
We released it a year ago.
It's flying by, dude. You're 35 right now.
Listen, with all
whatever. You know.
He would release an album yesterday and be like, I released an album 3 weeks ago.
It feels like forever ago. Anyway, so I released this little project, and it was like a creative project, and I only released it online. And so I did that for myself because I was like, I just want to do R&B music, and we did that. It did pretty well. It wasn't like a super huge album, but I wasn't planning for it to be that. I didn't do any promotion. I didn't do anything like that, and I got to do that and express myself creatively. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I wanna go back and I wanna incorporate this style into my pop lane, and I wanna go and make some smashes. So we started like cooking it up in the studio, and we actually found Diplo and Skrillex. Scooter actually was in like a bar or a club or something and ran into Diplo, who was like, yeah, we're doing this album. We want to get Justin on it. And so we had this song, just me and a piano. And we sent that over to Diplo, and him and Skrillex messed with it and created Where Are You Now? And that dropped like do 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 do. And like we're like, what is this? It's unbelievable. And so I called them into the studio. I was like, hey guys, I think that this could be a sound that's gonna change music, and I think that I would be an awesome person if you can just trust me to take this sound and run with it. And they were like, we would love that. And so I spent the next couple months with me and Skrillex, and we just grinded in the studio, found stuff that we loved, we didn't like, and eventually we came up with Purpose.
Do you think you've had the longevity you've had because it started out so pure and it's always been about the music and not about the fame?
I think so. I think too, people understand and know that I was found on YouTube, for my talent.
Do you feel like this is the first time that you've been in control of your own music? Like, I'm sure when you're coming up, people are telling you what you can do,
right,
and maybe you're not really down with exactly the music you're putting out, but now you control it. Do you feel that way now?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I and every time I go on stage now, I'm hyped up about doing the songs that I made, and before I wasn't so hyped up. You have to play the game a little bit. I was young. I didn't really know what I wanted creatively too. So,
think you're ever going to look back at the stuff you put out now? Because I think it's an awesome album. And I was telling
Thank
Scooter,
you.
I don't download anything.
Yeah.
And this album is awesome.
Thank
Do you
you.
think that there's going to be a couple of years from now where you're listening back to this one going, that was my sound then, but I'm so not down with that now?
Well, no, I think that music changes, and I think that we all are going to look back and say, man, that sounds dated. But I think what I did on this album is I made songs that were, if you strip them down and you just play piano with them or you play guitar, they're still beautiful songs. And it's not about the beat. It's not about, and when it's like that, I have this song called Life is Worth Living on the album, and Love Yourself. It's like, I feel like Love Yourself is going to be like free falling.
It's my favorite song on the album.
It's like in 10 years when it's like, everyone's like, play that song. And like on the jukebox, and everyone plays Free Fallin'. I'm free falling. And then I think it's going to be, you should go and love yourself. I hope so.
We were at an event and it was playing, and somebody came up and they're like, who is this? And I'm like, it's Justin Bieber. And they're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yeah, it is.
My boy said the same thing. He's like, I was in an Uber the other day, and the Uber driver's like, who's this? And he's like, this is Justin Bieber. He's like, get the out of here. It was funny.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Real, funny. The Bert Show.